Donald J. Trump and his Secretary of War, Pete Hegseth. When I think of the two, it makes me think about a sequel to Dumb and Dumber, only the misogyny version. And the irony of this breaking story you're going to want to hear is because it's Veterans Day. And since they decided to invent calling the Department of Defense and Hegseth the Secretary of War, it couldn't be more appropriate that we're discussing these two guys and their history with women on Veterans Day when it comes to misogyny. I'm going to show the story to you in just a few seconds. But let's remember, this is what Hegseth said just recently with the speech in the generals. This.
War does not care if you're a man or a woman. Neither does the enemy. Nor does the weight of your rucksack, the size of an artillery round, or the body weight of a casualty on the battlefield who must be carried. This is not about preventing women from serving.
Yet when Hegseth tried to get confirmed, all of this came out.
Growing controversy surrounding Donald Trump's pick to lead the Defense Department.
And his mama has an opinion on it too.
Pete Hegseth accused of routinely mistreating women for years by his own mother.
And I know it'll seem surprising, but this is actually, when pressed, how Hegseth naturally responds to a woman who's strong and smart. This.
Are you certain none of that highly enriched uranium was moved?
Of course, we're watching every single aspect. Jennifer, you've been about the worst. The one who misrepresents the most intentionally. What the president says. I'm familiar.
And in fact, I was the first to describe the B-2 bombers, the refueling, the entire mission with great accuracy. So I take issue with that.
And do note, when he got grilled at his confirmation hearing, this is his way of dealing with it.
Did you ever engage in any acts of physical violence against any of your wives?
Senator, absolutely not.
But you would agree with me that if someone had committed physical violence against a spouse, that would be disqualifying to serve as Secretary of Defense, correct?
But when you think of Trump, who picked him for all sorts of reasons, and you put these two guys' history together with women, let's have a little visual of Pete and a little audio from Donald. It kind of makes the point of the breaking story. This.
Whoa. I did try and f*** her. She was married.
Huge news there.
No, Nancy. Yeah. No, this was marriages. And I moved on her very heavily. I moved on her like a bitch. But I couldn't get there. You know, I'm automatically attracted to beautiful. I just start kissing them. It's like a magnet. And when you're a star, they let you do it. You can do anything.
Whatever you want.
Grab them by the pussy.
Because in the end, this is what his mother said about her own son.
In a 2018 email to her son obtained by the New York Times, Penelope Hegseth wrote, "On behalf of all the women, and I know it's many, you have abused in some way, I say get some help and take an honest look at yourself."
Absolutely not have I ever done that.
And what did Pete Hegseth just do on Veterans Day to an extremely qualified woman on the SEAL level? Well, check out how petty this guy is. Here's the breaking story. Breaking news. SEALs flatten weak Hegseth as elite captain's career ruined because she's female. Report. The first woman nominated to lead the Naval Special Warfare Command overseeing Navy SEALs had her promotion abruptly canceled, and military sources blamed Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth's hostility to women in combat roles. CNN reported the Navy captain, a troop commander with Navy SEAL Team 6 and a Purple Heart recipient, had been ranked the top officer for promotion in her cohort and was in line to take charge over the elite unit until the plans were scrapped just 2 weeks before a formal ceremony was scheduled. And thanks to the Navy's up or out policy, her military career was effectively ended. In quotes, they want to keep it the brotherhood and don't like that she's coming in and challenging the status quo, a Navy Special Operations source familiar with the situation told CNN. One defense official familiar with the matter said there had been discussions about whether the role was necessary, and a Pentagon source said Hegseth was not involved and the captain's nomination was pulled because she was not a SEAL. But multiple sources told CNN they didn't buy those explanations. In quotes, they can justify it by saying she's not qualified because she's not a SEAL, said one retired SEAL, but the SEALs thought she was qualified. CNN is not naming the captain, who did not respond to requests for comments, but the retired SEAL said the move clearly reflected Hegseth's views about women serving in the military and stated the Pentagon chief was a misogynist. In quotes, I'm sure they would repeal the whole women in combat thing if they could, but this is what they can do, the retired SEAL said. Hegseth has already removed several women from top leadership roles and active duty women who make up about 18% of the U.S. military, and the military veterans told CNN the self-styled Secretary of War had made service less safe and more difficult for them. In quotes, to be quite honest, I'm fearful for women in uniform right now, said Patty J. Tutalo, a retired Coast Guard commander who served on an advisory group for women in the military before it was shut down this year. I definitely think there will be a retention issue for women, Tutalo added. I also think that you're going to see an increase in assaults, increase in harassment, increase in bullying, hazing, and I think there'll be a lack of accountability for those things. The Navy captain's former SEAL Team 6 comrades are furious about her command getting yanked. In quotes, that's horseshite, the former senior enlisted SEAL said. The former SEAL voted for Trump and still supports him, but he said Hegseth's personal views were interfering with his ability to lead the military. I think my job is to protect women and children, but occasionally there's bad-ish women out there, and we should capitalize and not limit ourselves, he said. The Naval Special Operations sources pointed out the captain had been effective at recruiting women to special operations roles, and that person offered withering criticism of Hegseth. In quotes, it pisses me off because it's clearly someone who is capable and has done extraordinary things and is being punished because of, and I hate that I have to say it this way, weak-ish men, that source said. You know, one of the key things about being a terrific leader is not only putting people who are exceptional in positions of leadership underneath you, but it's also trusting them. It's no different than a head coach and their defensive coordinator or offensive coordinator. It's the very same thing. And so when an entire group of mostly men or all men tell you from a SEAL perspective, she's qualified, you should probably listen to them. But if you're inherently someone who is a misogynist, you just can't do it. And at its core, and at his core, and Donald Trump's core, that is who they are. You guys like and share the video, subscribe to the channel, and stay frosty.